It fascinates me how in the book of Genesis, those early chapters that set the stage for everything that's to follow. They set the stage that God is the creator of all, that God created it good, that God created the human person to be the crown of creation, and that somehow that was spoiled because the temptation in the garden was, on the one side, God to say, yeah, everything I have is yours, but you're limited. You're not me. And the serpent who would say, he's lying. He doesn't love you. He just wants to keep you down. He's really a tyrant. And so don't think that the warning he gave you has any truth. You won't die. You'll be just like God. You won't have to listen to anybody. You'll be able to be your own norm. And I say to myself as I look at this whole story unfold, that also sets the stage for a redeemer. That we need to be redeemed by somebody who's not us. We can't do the job ourselves. I look at all these issues and I say, my oh my, we are at the center of the culture war. We are at the center of, these stories are at the center of the difference between the story we tell and the story that you so often hear outside. I confess to you that part of this today, I've been preparing these reflections in light of the fact that at 5 o'clock tonight, I'll be back in Lexington, and I'll be with all the kids from, not all the kids, but I'll be with the kids from W&L and VMI. Knowing that if you're in college today, or even high school, or even if you're a kid, you are having to hear many things that make you wonder about what you hear in church. Ideally, the education piece would work like this. It would say that our public institutions would respect and incorporate that respect into everything that they did, whatever their bailiwick was, and that we would have what they call at VMI, the stool with 3 legs, that the family, the church, and the school would all be working off the same page. I think it's pretty safe to say, and most of you have experienced, that they're not, in many, many respects. And that represents a danger, because it's a mixed message. I'm thinking not only of the college kids, but you're getting a mixed message, and it's tough. You're getting hammered with a lot of this stuff. First of all, that God created everything. That there's a purpose to creation. It's not just a meaningless thing to which we may decide to give meaning. No, there are some givens, things that God puts in place. All right, so we're limited from the start. And I guess we could be accused of speciesism. You probably heard that. You're a speciesist. Because you're saying that the human person is the highest of all? And we say, yeah. Yeah, we say we're connected to all the other creation. But there is a special quality in the human being, unlike anything else in creation, that God has put there. And then when it comes to marriage, well, what I tend to hear is that, why would you want to marry? Why not keep your options open? Why not stay free? All this marriage stuff is so somebody can control you. and make you feel guilty. And we say no, because we do speak with a collective memory of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years every time this room gathers. There's a collective memory here that goes back to the very beginnings. And that marriage, in our understanding, is the great, even in the limitation that it means, that's the freedom. And that if you live a life without limitation, which feels free, before very long you'll be a slave. You'll be a slave. These are very different narratives. These are very different stories. Another one, and it's hard. It's hard because sometimes you don't recognize what's coming at you. If I'm a parent and I hear said that, well, you should have nothing to do with what my children learn, I say, I'm sorry. I don't want to teach every class, but I certainly want to be able to assume that those highest values that myself and my husband, myself and my wife, those highest values which we inculcate in our children, I fully expect that they're going to be respected in all our public institutions. I fully respect. I'm paying for this. That's what I'm paying for. We see another way in terms of the conflicting narratives. We see, and also that others would say, well, no, you don't need a God to be saved. Just listen to the smart people. They'll save you. And suffering, you don't need a God. That makes you less than human. No, your greatness in human is finally getting rid of God. See, you're hearing stuff like that. And we say, well, God is. And this is the way to hope. And we've got a lot of people in this room that can say, yeah, you know, when I suffered, because the voice would say, no, you don't really have to suffer. No, we have the solution so you won't have to suffer anymore. And I say, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because what we say is, even listening to Hebrews, that the leader, Christ, to their salvation would be made perfect through suffering. A very different story that says, kids, yeah, the teacher you don't like, the coach that cut you from the team or from the cheerleader, you didn't get accepted, all the types of suffering that we do, the yelling matches, the broken relationships, the gossip, all the suffering that we do, we say, oh, we don't invite it. But we have found, and there are many here that can give that testimony, we have found that very often suffering made us a better person. The unexpected, which was not part of our script, when we went through it in faith, we became a person better than we thought we could be. Oh no, so suffering has its own role. I don't have to correct every single piece of it. You see, one after the other, very different stories of life that we tell. And those stories, when acted upon, they shape a culture. They shape a whole culture. And so as I prepare and I'm thinking of the kids at Randolph and University of Lynchburg, I know this parish has a mass over there. And if you're not doing anything at 4 o'clock this afternoon, great Greek theater at Randolph. Marvelous outdoor thing for this Greek play. But that's what I pray for, because these are our great stories. It's so important for us now to know them, and to know when very subtly they're being eroded. That's a challenge for our time. God willing, it'll be a joyful challenge. It'll be one to say, oh my gosh, I've been too complacent. I've been resting on my laurels. And now I get to go back and do some of the hard work to know why we tell these stories, why they're so beautiful, why they bring life.